Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's episode of Care Sandwich. By the way, it's my birthday, and I get to hang out with Darlene Peters today and tell you all about her and her legal career, as well as her other passions. She's an amazing person that I got to meet at Will by Betty. But first, a quick video.
Welcome to Care Sandwich, the podcast where we dive into the success journeys of law firm owners across the country. I'm Margarita Everline, your host and the founder of Marketing Boss, a fractional chief marketing officer firm for law firms. On this show, we'll explore the challenges, strategies, and victories that have shaped law firms and how they wrap every interaction with care. Because we believe that caring isn't just a value, it's a strategy for success. So grab your favorite sandwich, sit back, and let's dig into a conversation filled with insight, inspiration, and of course, a lot of care.
Welcome to Care Sandwich. I have a very special guest that I met at Will by Betty, Darlene Peters. Join me. Let's chat. Hey, Darlene, how's it going? How's your morning going?
Hi there, Margarita. First of all, of course, I have to say happy birthday to you. I don't sing, so I will not sing it, but my morning is going well. Thank you.
That's great. So, Darlene, you are an attorney and you're like 360 when it comes to your approach to how you take good care of your clients. So, tell us about your legal career, your story, how'd you get into law, and tell us about your law firm.
Sure. So this month alone, I turned 27 years in the practice of law, being a Louisiana licensed attorney. And law was a bit of a second career for me. I had worked for a few years after graduating from undergrad with a bachelor's degree in business. And I knew I wanted to continue my education, but wanted to make some money, quite honestly, and was just tired of school. So I started making money, but it was not a lot of money. And that's what propelled me to pivot and turn around and say, you know what, okay, now it's time to pick that law career off the back burner and pursue your legal career. So I started saving some money, saved for about a year, and then actually decided to earn a dual degree. I enrolled in a joint JD MBA program here at a local university. So that was in 2001. No, 98. I'm sorry. I'm getting my years confused. And I've been practicing attorney since that time, and it's been an adventure. But one thing I've learned about this profession is it can be very demanding, very taxing, but also very rewarding. So several years ago, I decided to become certified in health and wellness coaching and nutrition coaching. I founded my own company, which is called Deep Wellness NOLA. And what I do is I do consulting, speaking, writing on health and wellness issues from a holistic perspective. And the reason it ties in so well with the legal career, because I'm actually here at a law firm. So I still have my full-time career. I'm a partner in a defense firm. And what it does, it helps me to, one, not only help myself with sustaining my health and wellness, it helps those around me, it helps my firm. And I also have the opportunity to speak at other firms, companies, legal associations about the importance of supporting your employees with respect to their health and wellness. And that makes for a more successful profession.
I love that. So when I first started working with attorneys, like I've been doing marketing for over 25 years, but like when I first started to like specifically work with attorneys, one of the first things that stood out to me was the emotional taxation, if I can call it that. I don't even know if that's the proper way to use that word.
Yes.
And I read a book called The E-Myth, but for attorneys. And because I was trying to really understand, what it was like to be in their life, because I'm very deep like that, right? So I'm like, okay, I'm working with attorneys, but I want to know how they feel, what they think, and what their life is like. And I started to observe just the weight of stress. And one of the things that stood out in E-Myth was that unlike other business owners, on top of all the stress of running a business, attorneys have to deal with every 5 minutes is somebody else's problem.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's true. That's a lot. And I mean, I can kind of relate, but not like that. Like I deal with problems all day long as a marketer, right? My Canva's not working. The link is broken. There's a typo on my website. Kill me now, right? But like y'all are dealing with like real serious, like my life is over. And I've been a client, by the way. I hired a divorce attorney. I hired a business litigation attorney. So PI attorney. So like I've been a client and I feel like I'm a good client, you know, because I work with attorneys, but I know what it's like to feel that like stress and like want to call my divorce lawyer, you know, about like, you know, so talk to us about the importance of health and wellness for attorneys specifically, because we've got folks in the audience that are law firm owners that I want them to hear what you have to say, because I feel like it's so valuable. They need it.
Yes, sure. So, like you said, you know a lot about this profession, and it's true. The law follows you around all day. I mean, you're always thinking, even if it's not about your cases, maybe there's a situation that you see and you start to think about it from a legal angle. Maybe you're dealing with your loved ones at home and you start to have maybe not an argument, but a discussion because, again, the law becomes in you, becomes embedded in you. So it's very difficult to shut it off. And sometimes you will get an idea, sometimes you will get a theory or a strategy when you're not when you're not working. So it starts to consume you because you always feel like you need to be a step ahead, whether it's a step ahead of your opponent, a step ahead of your client. You have to be proactive. And it's also a problem solving profession. So we're always trying to figure out the problem. People come to us with problems. No matter it's a money problem, a relationship problem, no matter what it is, it's a problem that they want us to solve. So that is a lot of pressure that we carry around. But I'm also committed to respecting the trust that our clients have in us to handle their matters. Now, we can't handle those matters appropriately if we are sleep deprived, if we can't think clearly, if we don't know how to have boundaries and shut things off and focus on their problem, because we're also in such a distracted world. So most lawyers I know have more than one client. And like you said, everybody is pulling at us with their demands, their emergencies, their issues. So how do we balance that? And it can be a juggle. I call it the juggle of the struggle, or the struggle of the juggle, because we're constantly juggling and trying to determine what takes priority. What do I need to do now? And that's where I think part of the boundary of, okay, let me take some time and really plan out my day and figure out what I need to do today. And because we cannot fly by the seat of our pants. The stakes are too high in this profession. So what I find I am doing is constantly evaluating my calendar. What's on my calendar? What do I have coming up? What do I need to know? But also the key, which is a challenge for a lot of legal professionals, is to ask for help. So whether that's help with your workload, whether that's help at home with juggling personal demands, whether that's seeking counseling or therapy, or just maybe business coaching, bouncing ideas off of someone like you, marketing, where you're trying to position your business to be the go-to firm for your clients, but you're not quite sure how to do that. So I think if legal professionals can, one, take a step back and recognize that yes, we're problem solvers, but we don't have to have all of the answers. That is step one. I think another key is making sure that we are resourceful. So again, that's figuring out who can help me with this issue. It may not necessarily be me. Who can help me with this project? But two, it's also about taking time for ourselves, because we show other people how to treat us by the way we treat ourselves. So if we're giving ourselves the leftovers.
Can you say it again? I know somebody didn't hear you.
Yes, we show others how to treat us by showing them how we treat ourselves. So we make ourselves a priority. We take care of ourselves. We manage our health, our wellness, our minds. Because again, if we're not properly rested, and I have $1 million deal that I want Margarita to broker, but I know that she's been sleep deprived for the last 2 weeks, I'm not going to necessarily feel comfortable about that. But so many of us are walking around sleep deprived, dehydrated, all of these simple things that can sometimes impact our thinking. So part of what I try to do is just remind people about simple strategies that they can use to take care of themselves, from moving around, stretching, taking breaks. This is a profession where we don't like to take breaks. Periodic breaks help quite a bit. And also connecting with your team. Again, even if you're in a solo practice, you still have a team. You have a team of people you likely work with. You have colleagues. So the social support can be a huge foundation to your success and figuring some things out. Because chances are, whatever you're working on, somebody has done it before, and you can sometimes get some insight into how to handle a certain issue if you reach out to those in your network.
And I'm going to point out two things that were not on your list of how to take care of yourself that I see in the legal profession. Self-medicating with alcohol is not taking care of yourself. That is running from yourself.
Yes.
And shopping is also, well, maybe. So, I mean, I'm going to point out what I heard from you is take care of yourself in terms of making healthy choices and taking care of yourself in ways that will set you up for success. Because
Yes.
investing in quality time with your team, investing in rest, that's taking care of yourself in really smart ways, healthy ways that
Yes.
will set you up for future success.
Yes.
Darlene, I'm going to ask you for a very specific tip, if you could give us, on how to handle decision fatigue. And this is the context in which I see it, right? In the marketing space with what we do, we are like the intermediary between the law firm owner and their marketing team, right? And so the law firm owner will come to us and say, marketing boss, my marketing team's just not cutting it. Like, help me whip them into shape, right? So we'll come in and we'll take over as their CMO and lead the team. And then the team will, with tears in their eyes, they
Yeah.
never approve anything. They never give us feedback,
Yeah.
right? And then I always explain, yeah, because, I'm going to use your name, because Darlene and the other partners are burnt out from making decisions
Yes.
all the time. So let me give you a brand guide. If you follow this brand guide, you'll more likely align with what Darlene and her team like, right? So we come up with solutions like that. But there's still instances where you need to make a decision as a law firm owner. And if you're not making these decisions because of decision fatigue, it's understandable, but how can you manage it so that you can still give your team the leadership? And I was using marketing as an example, but I'm sure it happens with the case management too, with managing the case.
Yes.
So how do you advise that attorneys handle decision fatigue?
Decision fatigue is a huge issue because I think as legal professionals, we are always on the conservative side when it comes to risk. So there's always something in us that holds us back from taking the leap or making a
Another
decision
one I'm going
because
to ask you about.
yeah, we want to evaluate every possible scenario and whether it's for us trying to figure out, okay, what's the worst that can happen? What's the best that can happen? To maybe working with you, oh, do I really like this marketing strategy? Does it signify who I am? Does it represent who I am? I'm just not sure. And so we often find it very hard to release. So in other words, maybe you're seeing that your clients are just very reluctant to or hesitant to release the decision power to you because that's what we're supposed to do. So I think one of the best things you can do with decision fatigue is sometimes to take a pause and figure out, okay, let me just pause because right now I'm making thousands of decisions a day. Maybe not that many, but it just depends on what's going on. And when you find yourself just unable to move forward, things like indecisiveness, procrastination, those are signs of sort of a mental block. And you have to figure out, okay, can I take a pause and maybe revisit this? Now, I know for you with a team who is maybe waiting for the client to approve something, or you want to forge ahead with a strategy or an idea, it can be frustrating. But always, as part of your services, always say, hey, look, is there something I can answer for you? Do we need to discuss this again? Because how many times have we had discussions only for you to maybe a day or two later, everything is out the window, you've forgotten? Follow up with people. And this is something that you can do as a marketing company or that you can do inside of a firm. Follow up. I think we've gotten out of the habit of following up with bullet points or memorializing the discussion because people sometimes need time to ponder. And I think in this society where everything has to be instant, you send a text, you expect a response instantly. You send an email, you expect a response instantly. We don't always appreciate the pause. So now, obviously, if you have a tight deadline, you need to kind of get that ball rolling. But following up and again, having discussions, I think, are very helpful.
So one takeaway then that I'm getting from your advice is, if you are a law firm owner and you know that you might suffer from decision fatigue, get ahead of yourself and allot time to make specific decisions if you notice there's a pattern and you're a bottleneck in your business, whether it's the marketing or whatnot. The other thing that I picked up on that I would love for you to expand on is the trust factor. I have had a lot of amazing attorneys develop what I make up my own words, marketing PTSD, Okay.
Yes.
The law firm owner invests a lot of hard-earned money on a marketing campaign because somebody promises they're going to go viral and
Mhm.
you're going to be flooded with cases. And, they tell you everything you want to hear, and then
Yes.
you give them your money. And then after that, whoever gets you next, sometimes it's me, you're like, I don't trust you.
Yes.
Damn, you don't know what you're doing. And, or someone makes a typo one day and now you don't trust anybody to do your
Yes.
social media content. So how do you manage that trust journey? Like, from my perspective as a CMO, the light superficial advice is, you have to trust in
Yes.
order to learn how to trust. So you got to
Yes.
trust in bits and pieces. And you also, in marketing, it's not as bad as in the legal space. Like, if you make a typo on a social media post, no
Mhm.
one's going to die. You might get extra engagement from the 5 Karens that are going to
Right.
correct your typo. Like, it's all good, right? So, like, don't
Right.
stress out. But but learn how to trust in increments, and give people an opportunity to earn your trust.
Yes.
Other than that, like, please help me, give me more tools
Sure.
to
Sure.
help my clients with trust.
Yes. So, law firms, we look for proof. We're always looking for the evidence. We're looking for the sign. And while we know that nothing is guaranteed, success may not be guaranteed, give us some support, give us something to work with and say, hey, let me just show you this work that I did for this particular client.
Mm-hmm.
Let me show you some of my work. Let me show you some of the feedback. So we are always looking for testimony. We are looking for people to say, hey, Margarita and her team are great. That makes us feel better. It makes us feel better about our decision making, and it takes a huge load off of us. So I want you to start maybe thinking about, okay, once you start to know your client, what might they be in alignment with? Who might they be in alignment with? Are they similar to this client that I've had? Or are their objectives similar? But like you
Mm-hmm.
said, it's all about the teamwork. It's all about connection, support. And I would also say sometimes maybe just have a session where you're saying, look, let's just talk personally. Let's get to know each other a little bit better outside of the business relationship. What do you like to do? What what makes you smile? What do you do for fun? So I think the more you get to know your clients as people rather
Mm-hmm.
than a business, that also develops the partnership and the relationship.
And for the law firm owner, how would you help them be more trusting? Because I'll be honest with you, sometimes I'm the mediator between law firm owners and their agencies,
Yes.
where, like, marketing is a mess. Like, marketing is complicated. Like, sometimes things break, not
Yes.
because anybody made a mistake. And so I'll have a law firm owner that now doesn't want to trust a vendor when it's like it really wasn't their fault. Like,
Right.
like, I'm on your
Yes.
side, right? Um, how can they learn to trust when the trust has been broken, when they
Mhm.
have that marketing, PTSD,
Yes.
and there isn't perfection?
Yes. Yes. So I will tell you a little secret. Lawyers are not perfect either. We're not perfect people.
What?
So we don't like to talk about our mistakes, but I would always maybe say, look, hey, have you ever made a mistake in a case and maybe it was very minor, but it was just hard for you to get over. Like you said, that PTSD where you feel like it's always haunting you and following you around. So maybe you're a bit more protective and anal and you have perfectionism with certain things where you see that you may be falling short. I would say tell your clients, hey, look, you know what? You hired us for a reason or you hired them for a reason. What we want you to do is stay in your lane, focus on your business in being a lawyer, and let us focus on the marketing and the teamwork. If there was a mistake made, we all know we always appreciate honesty when it comes to a mistake. We fess up, first of all, and we say, we recognize we made this mistake, but we are committed to moving past it and moving forward to best serve you. And I think sometimes just acknowledging the mistake is always
Mm-hmm.
the key step. I mean, and sometimes there may be an instance where you make a mistake and you don't realize it until the client calls you out. We recognize that as well. But again, if you just remember that your law firm's clients are people who make mistakes all the time in their personal and professional lives. Just think about, let me put myself in their shoes. How does it feel? Now, I know your mistakes may be costly because they're thinking about, okay, I've just given you $10,000 and there's this mistake. But in the big picture, how costly was that mistake? Which may
Right.
determine how you address the resolution going forward. Like you said, if it's a typo in a social media, that's an easy fix. If it's something that's major, then you need to strategize with your team and figure out, okay, how do we do this? What do we do going forward? What services can we offer going forward to make sure that this client knows we appreciate their business and we want it in the future?
I love that. So I'm gonna recap a couple of things I picked up on. So if you're a law firm owner, and you're having trouble with trust, especially because the trust has been broken, is put it into perspective,
Yeah.
right? In the grand scheme of things, what impact did that really have on you and your business? And then consider the trust that you have in the company or the person that's serving you,
Mm-hmm.
and also maybe relate to the fact that you might have also made similar mistakes,
Yes.
and based on that maybe extend some grace so that you can learn how to trust. And I'll add, as a CMO, one thing that I encourage with my law firm owners is, if you have a vendor that's willing to admit to a mistake, apologize, and fix it, you have gold in your
Yes.
hands. Because many marketing vendors will gaslight you and they'll say, "Oh no, it's your whatever," right? It wasn't me.
Yes.
So that to me is very valuable. So
Yes.
I'll add that.
That's good.
Okay, so tell us, if somebody wants to learn more about you and how to work with you with, whether it's the wellness side or the legal side, how can they get in touch with you?
Sure. So my email is my name, Darlene Peters at gmail.com, and it's spelled Darleene, Peters at gmail.com. That's the best way if you just want to reach out to me directly. I'm on LinkedIn. So what I try to do on LinkedIn is, of course, support the legal profession as well as health and wellness. So you can find me at Darlene D. Peters. From there, I try to share content and information that I think would be helpful to the profession. And of course, if you are more of the Instagram type, my company name is Deep Wellness NOLA. So it's all one word, Deep Wellness NOLA. And that's actually my namesake. Most people call me D. The P stands for my last name, which is Peters, and of course, Wellness, and NOLA, which pays homage to my native city. So those are how you can find me. And I look forward to continuing this conversation as well.
Yes, I love it. And I have loved this conversation so much. I will confess that I've been trying to sneak health and wellness into the legal space through my Connect Convert
Yes,
law firm sales program. This
wonderful.
is a big piece. One of the things that we teach with Connect Convert is the importance of empathy. And
Yes,
you can't be empathetic if you're stressed out, if you're in a bad place. And so we tie in, did you drink enough water? Did you
yes,
move around today?
yes,
It's all connected.
yes,
And I call it sneaking health and wellness, because it's not like we're advertising, hey, we want to empower you with your with mindset. They're like, we just want more cases. Okay, we'll get more cases.
I love
So,
that. I do love that because again, we're people. We're not
yes.
machines, so we have to do things to refuel, recharge, and that's the health and wellness is a huge key. So I commend you for
But
that.
I love this. Let's make it normal to talk about health and wellness in the legal profession, in the legal
Yes,
space. And then,
absolutely.
Darlene, I can talk to you all day, but I have one more question, and then we're going to repeat your contact info again. But this is the most important question I'm going to ask you today, which is, what is your favorite sandwich? Because it's called the Care
Ooh,
Podcast.
so I have to inject a little bit of lawyer theory in
Uh-oh.
this. I have two favorites. So again, I'm in New Orleans, so shrimp po' boys and oyster po' boys, and sometimes the two combined are my favorite sandwiches.
I love shrimp
And
po'.
that's
So
fried.
there's a place in Atlanta. Oh my gosh, Rico something. Oh, I haven't been there in years. And they have like a po' boy, and they put a shrimp po' boy, and they put pineapple in it. I think
Ooh,
that's the most. I know it's weird. I know, but like I like the salty sweet.
yes,
And then I've had the ones in NOLA too. They're just delicious.
yes.
Yeah, maybe subconsciously. So I treated myself to a shrimp and grits for brunch today for my birthday.
Oh, good for you.
Maybe subconsciously, because I had a NOLA lady
That,
in
that,
my
that's
agenda
it.
today.
That's it.
Anyway, well, this has been great. So there you have it, folks. Get in touch with Darlene Peters if you want to infuse your life with more health, wellness. She is an attorney, so she knows what that life is all about.
Yes,
Hug yourself, drink
yes,
some water,
take
get some
care.
exercise, and be
Yeah.
nice. We'll catch you on the next episode of Care Sandwich. Thank you for
And then I can
watching.
quickly add, Margarita. So
Yeah.
I forgot to add. So what I also have been doing is speaking similar to this, sometimes in person, sometimes by Zoom, to law firms, to companies who want to spread this message of health and wellness to their teams and not just their attorneys. So I am available to do events such as this, workshops, you name it.
I love it. Yes, have her come teach about health and wellness at your next events.
Yeah.
And we'll catch you on the next episode of Care Sandwich. Thank you, Darlene, for
Thank
joining.
you. Enjoy your birthday.
Thanks.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of Care Sandwich. Remember, the way we care for our clients, our teams, and ourselves can make all the difference in our success. Until next time, keep caring, keep growing, and I'll see you on the next episode of